You know, I keep saying in times of such turmoil, it's comforting whenever there are some things that are the same as they used to be. And it's so nice to have everybody arriving at the service at the last minute. Not quite finding their seats yet. It feels good. Feels good. But what a delight to just watch this sea of faces increase in number. It's wonderful.
Another screen.
Hi, Britta.
Listen to you.
Hello. Another minute or two, and then I'll start the announcement.
Say hi, Britta. No,
Hi, Brina.
say hi, Britta.
Oh. Hi, Brina.
Oh, it's
Hi,
baby Brenda rocking the house.
Slide it.
Veronica, oh my goodness. They're growing so fast.
You're showing them our fort.
The gallery.
I love it.
Wow, how do you get? You should have seen her. Oh, there they are.
Where are you? Oh, there you are.
Are they?
Hey.
I don't know.
Nice to see Michael Bingham on here.
Hey, Michael.
Oh.
Our hero.
Oh, look at the space background.
Wow.
Nice shirt.
Yes.
Hi, Ellen.
Oh.
Which no, I don't know whether he hasn't.
All right, well, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Morning.
Reverend Chris.
I am going to go ahead and mute you pretty much for the duration, although I love seeing your mouths move when we're singing together or reading together and so forth, and know that we are all fully participating together. So that just helps get rid of all those echoes and awful noises. So I am.
You don't have to do it. You can't do anything there.
And just want to welcome everybody. I'm not even sure more people are coming in by the second. I haven't been able to see everyone who's joined us. At least last week, there were people here for the very first time, which is such a delight. That would always be true if we were all gathered here in the sanctuary at the Glazer Center, where I am right now. So welcome one and all, and particularly to newcomers or visitors. You've found a progressive and inclusive spiritual community dedicated to celebrating life, empowering people, caring for one another, and helping to build a better world. And we hope you will become a part of it. I've changed the Zoom rules slightly for this service. The chat now is open just with the host. There's no, what I wish I could do is make it so you could chat with each other privately, but not publicly, but that's not an option actually. And I don't know about you, but I found the public chatting somewhat distracting, a little bit like having someone in the front row saying, "Hi everybody," in the middle of a reading. So we're gonna restrain that. If you have technical issues, chat with Michael Bingham, who's our technical support, who's here, and thanks, Michael. The service is recorded. The version that goes up on the YouTube channel actually has the original music videos put in it. So if there's any choppiness as we partake of this service together, that won't be a part of the later viewing. So you can always go back and watch it if you liked what you were hearing. A few announcements. You have received, I trust, an invitation to complete your profile in Realm, which is our new congregational database software. Super handy, very modern, comes with an app. It's gonna make communications and event planning much easier, and it will function as our directory. So the sooner you complete your profile, get your own picture up there, and encourage everybody else to do the same, the sooner we'll have a complete picture of the congregation thanks to Realm. Realm also is the software that helps us with our giving. So if you go to the website, uusantarosa.org, click on the Give Now button, it'll take you to a whole new window that would let you make a donation to the congregation, gratefully accepted, or share the basket, a separate giving category, which is the way that we'll be giving with outside organizations again starting next week. This week, if you want to share the basket, it would go to the Saturday breakfast, and I would invite you to make a donation to the breakfast. We still have lots of packets of postcards on the big wooden table in the foyer. 20 to a crack. This is a way to try and encourage disenfranchised or disgruntled or alienated voters in swing states to get out and vote and make a difference. Lots of people are doing it. We've had to buy 3,000 more postcards. I bow to your commitment and thank you. Come on down. And while you're here, you'll find on the table the jars of holy water from the Real Glazer Center in Santa Rosa, California, and blessed with 108 Om Mani Padme Hums by me, if you want to take that home for a blessing. And I think that's about it for now. The Soul Matters theme of the month is renewal. Way back on August 13th, you would have gotten an email from the congregation that has the small group packet in it. It's really a wonderful thing. I urge you to look at it. Spiritual practices, reflective questions, videos, movie recommendations, running the whole gamut from justice work to spirituality. That'll even link you to a Spotify playlist with killer tunes related to the theme. If you don't know Spotify, I urge you to get acquainted with it. It's super cool. And after the service, I'm gonna, before we break completely and come back at coffee hour, after a few minutes of chit-chatting with the mute off, I'm going to put people into breakout rooms of like 8 folks or so, just for a little bit. You don't have to accept that invitation. You can be done if you want, but just to give everybody who's gathered here a chance to chat with somebody just briefly, 5 or 10 minutes there. And that's all of that. One last announcement is that we have hired a new administrative manager, a wonderful woman named Kenyatta Jackson, and she made a video to say hi howdy to you, and here it is.
Hello everybody, my name is Kenyatta Jackson. I'm your new administrative manager. A little bit about myself. I am formerly from Catholic Charities. I used to run Sam Jones Hall, 213 beds for the homeless. And then I moved on to COTS in Petaluma, where I supervise the case managers. And I work with the city of Roanoke Park on their homelessness issue. And now I am here working for you and with you. I have met so many people thus far. Everyone's been so kind and gracious. Dawn has been wonderful, giving me the training, trying to get me up to speed so that I could serve you at my best. And now that COVID has changed our world so much, we are now at the UU and at the Glazer Center, now having to roll with the punches and change ourselves. So hopefully I will be able to meet most of you face to face safely as we figure out how that's going to work. You are welcome to email me or call me if there is something that I can do for you or something that you need. It's been wonderful thus far. Please give me a call. It's so nice to meet you, even just by video. Thank you so much for your kindness, and I will see you all soon.
Yay! Yep. All right, I think that's all the business. Welcome one and all, whoever you are, wherever you are on your journey. Let us worship together. Begin with the lighting of our chalice. And if you have a chalice at home, now's a good time to get it handy. You might light one. Here's our worship associate, Eric.
Morning, everybody. So great to see you all. Our chalice lighting words this morning are by Mary Oliver. Her poem called "What Can I Do?" The television has two instruments that control it. I get confused. The washer asks me, "Do you want regular or delicate?" Honestly, I just want clean. Everything is like that. I won't even mention cell phones. I can turn on the light of the lamp beside my chair where a book's waiting, but that's about it. Oh yes, and I can strike a match and make fire. So Reverend Chris will light the chalice today in the sanctuary using our new St. Ruth prayer candle. And again, please feel free to join him in lighting your chalice at home.
Let's sing. Eric with our next poem.
So these opening words are also by Mary Oliver in a poem called "No Matter What." No matter what the world claims, its wisdom is always growing, so it said. Some things don't alter with time. The first kiss is a good example, and the flighty sweetness of rhyme. No matter what the world preaches, spring unfolds in its appointed time. The violets open and the roses. Snow in its hour builds its shining curves. There's the laughter of children at play and the wholesome sweetness of rhyme. No matter what the world does, some things don't alter with time. The first kiss, the first death, the sorrowful sweetness of rhyme.
And oh, how I wish I could invite the children down. But we're going to pretend like they're coming down and sing the principal song together. 1, each person is worthwhile. 2, be kind in all you do. 3, let's help each other grow. 4, keep searching for the true. 5, each person has a say. 6, work for a peaceful world. 7, the web of life's the way that will bring us back to you, 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 you.
All right. Welcome everyone to Time for All Ages. Today was our first day back at RE. It was so wonderful seeing so many of the kids back. And unfortunately, they are all Zoomed out. I think you can get about a half hour out of them. Fortunately for all of you, we recorded our Time for All Ages this morning. So I am going to be sharing that with you right now. Today in our Wonder Box, we have something really, really cool. I can't wait to see what it is. Does anyone have any guesses? Anyone know what they think it is? Oh, what do you think it is, Owen?
Beads.
Beads? Let's see. What? Anyone else have any other guesses? No? All right, let's see. Oh no. My friend had built the coolest Lego ship. It was so awesome, but I think I broke it. Oh no. What should I do? Maybe, you know what? I think I'll hide it. I think I'll hide it and I'll put it away and then nobody will have to know. Is that what should I do? What should I do? Oh, Owen, what should I do?
You should admit that it was a mistake to your friend and say you're sorry.
Oh, but
or you could try and rebuild it and then just give it back to him.
That sounds really hard though, because then I have to tell him that I made a mistake. I really don't want to do that. That's hard. Can't I just hide it and pretend it didn't happen?
No!
No. Oh, what if I just ran away and said that somebody else broke it? No. No. Oh, I guess, should I say sorry?
Yes.
Oh, but sorry's such a hard word to say. Are there other things I should do?
Yes.
What else should I do?
You should try and build it back together, but say it broke, but you build it back together in a new way.
Oh, so maybe I can build it, I could help them build it and tell them that I broke it and try to fix my mistake? Owen, did you have another suggestion?
No, but you're echoing.
I'm echoing. Okay, thank you for letting me know. So it looks like maybe because I broke my friend's thing, I should fix it. I should tell them what happened. And I should say I'm sorry.
Yes, but if you want, you can try and build it and rebuild it in a new way.
Maybe I could even help them build it better. You're right, Rory. Well, this week, we're talking about saying sorry. And I'll let you guys in on a secret. That was already broken. But you guys have some great suggestions on what to do when you make a mistake. And saying sorry is one of those things. This time of year is called Yom Kippur, and for many Jewish families, it's a time of saying sorry and making up for mistakes and asking for forgiveness. It can be hard to say sorry. It can be hard to admit that you've made a mistake and then to take responsibility for those actions. But you know what? When you do, you feel so much better. The worry about the mistake is gone, and you don't have to carry it anymore. Now, sometimes saying sorry is a hard thing to do. So I thought it might be fun to tell you guys some other ways to say sorry. One thing you can do is you can make a fist with your hand. You can put it on your chest, and you can rub it like this. That's sign language for I'm sorry. So if those words are a little too hard to say, you can always say it with your hands. You could always say it in other languages too. In Spanish, you can say sorry by saying lo siento. In Japanese, you can say I'm sorry by saying gomen nasai. There's lots of different ways to say sorry. And it doesn't have to be words too. You can say sorry by fixing your mistake, by letting people know, and one of the most important things, by showing that person that you really feel bad and making sure that you'll do your best to not do that thing in the future. So, as we go into this new week and we think of ways to renew ourselves, think of ways that you can say sorry to fix your mistakes and to make things better. All right. Oh, I think that does it for our Wonder Box. And as we move on, we can also do our Unison affirmation. I hope everyone has their hands ready. We are Unitarian Universalists, people of the open minds, the loving hearts, and the helping hands.
Thank you so much. Let's turn now to Tamara Murrell, who's one of our lay chaplains with this week's Milestones.
Hi, I'm Tamara, one of your lay chaplains. Milestones are where we share our joys and sorrows with the congregation. You're invited to light a candle to remember those you are holding near to your hearts. These are the milestones for this week. It was Jane Fischer's 92nd birthday on Friday, September 18th. What an incredible, gorgeous, loving woman, writes Jamie Kerr. Peggy Spofford shares 2 joys. My son, Charles H. Blunt, celebrated his 59th birthday on September 14th. My daughter and firstborn, Karen E. Blunt, celebrated her 61st birthday on September 18th. Janine Giblin also celebrated her birthday on Friday, September 18th, a popular day for birthdays. Carol Whisker writes, my dear sweet aunt Signe recently celebrated her 104th birthday. When asked how she got to be 104, she said with her hands up, you tell me, I still can't believe I'm this age. All my friends and family are so important to me, I have lived a very good life. She is an inspiration for and loved by many. If you have something to share with all or a private concern that you'd like to talk over with a lay chaplain, please contact us at laychaplains@uusantarosa.org. We give thanks for sharing of these milestones, for they remind us of our shared humanity and our common fate, and inspire our compassion and care. May all our joys be magnified as we delight in the good news. May all our sorrows be eased as we carry them together in community. May you who are searching for courage, comfort, faith, and hope find what you seek. And may all people grow in wisdom, compassion, and love, that the whole world might live with justice and in peace. Be safe, be well.
I would add one milestone, which is, and I that Shirley Rank, who I believe is here with us, I couldn't get her to say, yes, I hear you or see you, but her name has been up. And thanks to the generosity of the CUPS group, she has a new laptop in order to stay connected with our service. You may know that she's been in Creekside Rehab Facility for months now, not a happy place. The good news is that she will be leaving there this week. Further good news, though sad perhaps for us, is that she will be moving to her daughters in Michigan and leaves on Thursday. And so it's a kind of sudden departure and doesn't give us the chance to say goodbye to someone who's graced us with a number of adult ed classes, who wrote Cakes for the Queen of Heaven, which many people here have enjoyed with the Pagan group, and who was an outstanding interim minister in the wider UU world for years and years. So we're waving goodbye and thank you to you, Shirley, and hope that you can see that. And I'm glad that you got to be here. All right, I'm gonna ask you to join me in a prayer, and then I'm gonna do a reading, which I'll share on the screen to follow along as we move into our time of meditation together. Spirit of life, Spirit of love, Spirit of growth and creation and hope, thank you for bringing us together this day, for this opportunity to feel again the bonds of our community, for the technology that allows us to see each other face to face and raise our voices in song, even as we are eagerly awaiting, yearning for the day where we can actually hear those voices all together. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for these clear skies we've had in recent days and the reminder of that our troubles may come to an end. We are praying hard for all the people who have been experienced loss because of these fires, loss of life, loss of their homes, for all those who did in the past, for all those who are trying to put those fires out, and all those who are still living in fear and uncertainty. May those resolve, and may we have rain as quickly as possible to help put those fires out. Praying today in a sense of grief for the loss of loved ones in the congregation, Bob Clement, Karen Lillard, recently Phil Harriman, and of course right now for the loss of a great jurist and feminist hero, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and for everything that implies for our country right now. We thank you for her inspirational life and for her service, and ask that her example inspire us to similar deeds and inspire our leaders to do the right thing in this uncertain time. May all people know the painful sting of hypocrisy and avoid it. Thank you for all our heroes. And may we all feel the growing, striving, reaching power of creation coursing through our minds and our hearts and our hands. May the light shine on us and lift us up and hold us close. Amen and blessed be. And the reading is from Maya Angelou. This came out on Larry Robinson's list after the Honorable Ginsburg passed away. When great trees fall. When great trees fall, rocks on distant hills shudder. Lions hunker down in tall grasses, and even elephants lumber after safety. When great trees fall in forests, small things recoil into silence, their senses eroded beyond fear. When great souls die, the air around us becomes light, rare, sterile. We breathe briefly, our eyes briefly see with a hurtful clarity. Our memory, suddenly sharpened, examines, gnaws on kind words unsaid, promised walks never taken. Great souls die, and our reality, bound to them, takes leave of us. Our souls, dependent upon their nurture, now shrink, wizened. Our minds, formed and informed by their radiance, fall away. We are not so much maddened as reduced to the unutterable ignorance of dark, cold caves. And when great souls die after a period, peace blooms, slowly and always irregularly. Spaces fill with a kind of soothing electric vibration. Our senses, restored, never to be the same, whisper to us, they existed. They existed. We can be and be better, for they existed. Let's be still together.
I don't know about you, but I've been finding hope a little hard to come by these past few months. It seems like I get up in the morning and there's some new form of stress to deal with. First, it was the upcoming election and all the social and environmental destruction being done here and across the world. Then the pandemic with heightened levels of anxiety about getting sick. Then the full realization of how the virus would impact our relationships. Then early wildfires and evacuations. Then an unprecedented heat wave. Then more fires and terrible air quality. I've heard the word apocalyptic spoken at least a few times in the past couple weeks. When Reverend Chris and I talked about this service, I tried to reflect on the idea of renewal and specifically what allows me to move forward into the future with hope, even when things seems kind of hopeless. What arose was the renewal of my spirit. I need something that makes me feel connected to the world and the universe beyond the circumstances of the moment. When he asked where I was finding that in my life right now, I immediately thought about plants, my connection to plants. We planted a garden this year, and I've found my relationship with the growing flowers and vegetables very calming and renewing. The same is true about the few trees we have around our house. In particular, there's a large old silver maple in our yard that regularly gets infected with mistletoe. Every couple of years, we have to have the mistletoe removed and the tree thinned. And after this year's trimming, I could sense the tree's relief. Almost the same as when I'm around somebody who's stressed and cranky, then they take a nap and wake up relaxed. With trees and plants, it takes a little more attention, but it's there for the noticing. My father always knew how to listen to plants. His life's work as a botanist was studying cacti, desert plants generally. He was never really very good with human communication, but with his plants, he was at home. As a father, I found him disappointing in many ways, but I grew to respect his connection to plants. I think he admired desert plants for their resilience, for their capacity to survive in arid climates. I know that growing up, his familial climate was kind of an emotional desert, so perhaps he saw cacti as companions. He understood them. He knew what they liked and what they disliked. He would show me how to find them growing hidden between rocks. And no matter how small a living space he was in, he always had a little plant nursery set up by a window. He would take sickly potted cacti he found somewhere and nurse them back to health. For him, it was a constant cycle of renewal. Though he's been gone for 26 years, my time spent gardening and tending to all our plants this growing season has made me feel more connected to him. 40 years ago, he gave my brother a small golden barrel cactus. It grew so large that my brother couldn't keep it and passed it on to me. It's been growing in a pot in our yard for about 10 years, just recently got knocked over and the pot was broken. I knew we had to get it into a new container soon or it would die. It weighs about 40 or 50 pounds and is covered with long, sharp spines, so picking it up was a risky process. It took 3 people to get it into a new, much larger container. We managed to get it planted and surrounded it with rocks for support, just like in its natural habitat. 2 days later, 3 beautiful flowers burst open. I could feel its happiness, as well as imagining my father's delight. Plants' perseverance and purpose is very calming. They're always growing leaves for energy or creating fruit and seeds to reproduce. Their constancy reconnects me with the steady flow of life all around that continues separate and apart from all our terrible human dramas. My antidote for the current poisonings coursing through our culture has been my joy and pleasure in picking and eating the ripening golden cherry tomatoes growing in our garden.
Thank you, Eric. We have a song that Melanie Demore is going to teach us, and we can all sing along. You will recognize Melanie if you attended Marley Fine's memorial service. She's an extraordinary songwriter and song leader and a friend of the congregation.
Hello, UU family. I'm going to sing a song with you called Shine on Me. It's an amazing spiritual that anybody can sing. And in these days when the things that we're dealing with, the feeling separate and all of that, and things seem so hard, this is one of those songs that you just throw your head back, put it in your medicine kit. All you have to do is ask. And here's how it goes. Shine on me, oh shine on me. Let the light from the lighthouse shine on me, oh shine on me. Yes, shine on me. Let the light from the lighthouse shine on me. Lift me up, oh, lift me up. Let the light from the lighthouse lift me up, oh, lift me up. Yes, lift me up. Let the light from the lighthouse lift me up. Oh, hold me close. Yes, hold me close. Let the light from the lighthouse hold me close. Yes, hold me close. Oh, hold me close. Let the light from the lighthouse, please hold me close. Oh, shine on me, shine on me. Yes, shine on me. Let the light from the lighthouse shine on me. Oh, shine on me. Yes, shine on me. Let the light from the lighthouse shine on me. All you have to do is just ask. The light is always there. Always. Always. Love you.
If we were here in person right now, Nina would be clapping and saying, I like that one. And I got to tell you, at least what I understand is Nina is here. So welcome, Nina. Is that true, Joe and Lucia? I'm trying to unmute you. It won't let me. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, she is. Unfortunately, she's a little bit out of the screenshot, but her roommate Mike is in the screenshot. We're trying to get her to come over.
All right. Wonderful. What a treat. Thank you.
Thank you for.
The light is always there. All you have to do is ask. 2 weeks ago today, 3 weeks ago, we held an online memorial service for Bob Clement. Many of you were at it. And then 2 weeks ago, the family came back, crazy hot day. We set up the canopy and placed his ashes in the memorial garden. As in a few weeks or sometime in the near future, we'll place Karen Lillard, and as I understand it, sometime after that, probably Phil Harriman as well. And there's something extraordinary about the simple ceremony that we conduct when that happens. Putting the ashes in, the dusty gray combining with the rich brown, the awareness of how much wisdom and experience and love for people in this congregation is represented in the many others who are buried directly in that soil. And, you know, there's a reason the old funeral services says dust to dust. There's a finality about it that's remarkable and moving and clear. And I've developed a simple ritual over the years with mostly the same words, including a little word from Walt Whitman, my very favorite, about how the earth takes all things, dead, alive, sick, well, takes them back into herself and turns them into compost from which new life may be born. And I conclude with the words, this is indeed a garden of rebirth. It is a garden of resurrection. And I always believe that. You can't not. There's flowers and gorgeous, rich plants surrounding the Buddha there. You can see how it's true. And of course, I'm speaking not just of that plot of land, but of our lives and this world. The journey of our soul, where we find ourselves, this home, this universe, a garden of rebirth, a garden of resurrection. And I always believe it. But some weeks it's easier, and some weeks it's harder. And this was such a week when, under the weight of all those burdens that Eric and Melanie spoke to, that we all know so well, this astonishing and for some reason unexpected news of Ruth Bader Ginsburg passing. And with the sense of fragility and uncertainty, the fraughtness, I can't find a better word, of this moment, it felt like, you know, is this the straw that will break the camel's back? How do we, when it feels like yet another thing, how do we keep finding a feeling for the rebirth and the possibility and the hopeful in the midst of all of these things? And as Eric so wisely pointed out, it can help to not just turn to the literal garden, but even to take the gardener's point of view. If you don't have a green thumb or don't have a place to grow plants, perhaps, you can still think like a gardener, and that may give us some guidance. There's an apocryphal quote attributed to Martin Luther. The internet does this. Even if I knew that tomorrow the world would go to pieces, I would still plant my apple tree. I'm a little suspicious. Go to pieces sounds like a very modern phrase, but we can see that people hear things they like and they attribute them to famous people because it makes them seem more important. We do it to this very day, as you can tell. It's how the Bible got written. We shouldn't get too hung up about it. Besides, whoever said it, it's a beautiful sentiment. Even if I knew that tomorrow the world would go to pieces, and it might, I would still plant my apple tree. And so I want to plant some trees in your mind and your heart, even as it might seem like the world is going to pieces, by thinking like a gardener, which I myself have done for really the first time over this past year, thanks to, as I've said before, Marianne Sontag and Bruce Hope and Dylan Graham and others of you who came over when I was having my heart surgery and having to turn vegan, and planted this amazing vegetable garden to go with the lovely flower garden I inherited from my family. So I'm having to like step up my gardening game big time and learn some very practical lessons about tending a garden that turn out to be good lessons for how we tend our society, how we tend maybe our personal lives as well. The theme I'm using for this metaphor comes from a fine writer, Maralisa Fabrega, Gardening Your Life. So if you want to grow a good garden, you want to grow a good society, and you want to grow a good self, first you have to have a vision for what that is going to look like. It actually doesn't really help to just go out and cast seeds wherever and hope for the best. And when I first moved into the place on Humboldt, there were just these scraggly, empty boxes with not very happy looking soil in them. It took some effort, it took some imagination with that barren plain there to see what might come here, what could grow here. And so too, as we're facing the turmoil in our society, we have to remember not just to be protesting, not just to be saying no, but also to be imagining for ourselves and speaking aloud to those around us the world we want to see. And as for ourselves, we're always growing and changing. What do you want to grow and change into? Next, you have to prioritize. You can't grow too many things. You can't grow everything right next to each other. I tried growing everything all at once, giant sunflowers, corn, onions, and stuff. What it turned out, what I most love to eat are all those fresh greens and spinach. Next year, I'll remember that and prioritize many more beds of the food I actually want to eat. And this is just clear advice. We can't do everything. We have to focus our energies. You don't have to solve all the world's problems in a single day. You don't have to solve all your own problems in a single day. The third is that you need good soil, literally, metaphorically, of course. I've been a kind of devotee. I sort of worship soil as the skin of Mother Goddess after seeing a movie some years ago by Deborah Coons Garcia called Symphony of the Soil, and learned like the miracle of the living system that is dirt. And now if I need to remember how the universe is constantly supporting us and growing us, it's there for us if we ask for it, I just think about soil. In my garden, we had to bring in totally fresh soil to make a new start. I wonder what that would look like in our society, because frequently it seems the soil is not healthy. One thing the last years have revealed to us is how much work we need to do to replenish the healthy foundation of our society: education, citizenship, empathy, critical thinking. Sometimes we need to lay a new foundation for ourselves as well, changing our behaviors, changing our diet, adopting new and healthy ways of living. When you do these things, you reap what you sow. You plant certain seeds, you get those things back. This is obvious and ancient wisdom. Many people have said it. Now, one thing you have to do as well, we're about halfway through, is constantly assess your garden's conditions. This was like the big challenge for me. You actually got to go out and look at it. You got to pick the weeds. You got to take the little flowers off the top of the basil. You have to water the plants. I hugely recommend that if you want a successful garden. You can't just plant it and hope for the best. You have to keep looking, keep assessing. You know, if our society is in trouble, we got to figure out how and why, tackle those problems accordingly. We want to change ourselves. Who am I? What am I right now? What's really going on? One of her more controversial suggestions is that you need to build a fence around your garden. I'm worried about that metaphor when His Majesty is trying to build a wall on our southern border, and certainly trying to build walls between us and the rest of the world and between us and each other. I don't want to build a wall, but I can tell you, after picking pounds of cat poop out of my garden, you do need to put a fence around it. Otherwise, you can't eat all that lettuce. And so too, we might need to set boundaries in ourselves, keep naysayers and toxic people at arm's length, sometimes say, no, I don't want the news today, block out time to get out and actually handle those plants because they need constant tending. This world, the society, ourselves, again, it's not a one and done kind of project. It's an everyday, it's a long haul. You have to constantly be looking at it. So far, I have discovered, for example, it is impossible to pick a small zucchini. I will look at it, it'll be teeny tiny. I think I'll come back in a day or two. I forget about it. It's as big as a basketball. So too in our society, constant vigilance, calling people out on their lies, making new laws, pursuing new strategies. And for yourself, also tending to yourself constantly by actually going for that walk, drawing, praying, digging, whatever you need to do. And the last couple, have patience and trust the process, which means learning to deal with things outside of your control. And that's tough right now. I don't know if you remember back in 2017, I think it was a Milestones service, Deborah and I made these frog and toad masks from the old children's story and told the story of Toad in the garden. He plants a garden and he's very anxious for the garden to get growing. So he goes out every day, yells at the plants for them to grow faster. He plays his violin, he reads to them. Some extended period of time passes and the garden finally starts to grow. Toad, of course, who's not super smart, thinks it was a good thing that he played the violin all those late nights. But actually what was happening was just needing to let seeds grow. And that's tough right now. But the true nature of a garden is that it is a cycle of birth and death together, like our own memorial garden. And we don't get the growth and rebirth, it seems, in this universe without some pain. At the vigil last night, I saw a congregant deeply troubled by Ruth Bader Ginsburg's death and what it means. And it asserted pretty confidently, things are going to get a lot worse. And you know what, friends? They might. But it's good to remember in that cycle of death and life and rebirth, that what if it has to get worse in order to get better? What if you have to see your plants poisoned and some of them die before you finally realize we got to change the soil, we got to tend the garden better, we have to do things here differently? And also trusting that process, right? Trusting the complete process and the long process of gardening is a way to see somebody like Ruth Bader Ginsburg in the long cycle of the quest for justice and for freedom and power for women, and knowing that there is more to come. There's way too many little girls who've read books about that amazing woman's life to think that the things that she lived for are possibly going to die. And if we think and act in this way as a gardener, then eventually we get to reap the harvest. We also get to reap the harvest now in the delight and confidence and faith that comes from planting seeds of patience and hope and empathy and tending them well. Even if I knew that tomorrow the world would go to pieces, I would still plant my apple tree, someone said, because he knew someday someone, if not us, our children, our grandchildren, our great-great-great-grandchildren will reap that harvest. Because even now, the conditions for growth and rebirth are possible. They're always here. The light is there. All you have to do is ask. Behind the dark clouds, the ash in the sky, the life-giving sun is shining in this world, which truly is a garden of rebirth and a garden of resurrection. And in that faith, even on what seems like a dark day, we can sing songs of hope. Even under cloudy skies, we can dream again of seeing clearly. Let's sing in that faith together.
I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark cloud that had me down. Gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. I can make it now, the pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. There is that rainbow I've been praying for. Gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Look all around, nothing but blue. Look straight ahead, nothing but blue skies.
That's what happens when you make the music for the service before you find out that the world's favorite Supreme Court justice has done. We're going to read our closing words together. Let me share the screen, and Eric will lead us in unison.
Please join me in reading our closing words. I find myself wanting to tell you to open your hymnals to number 693, and listen to the rustling as you do that before we start. But since we can't do that, we'll have to make do with the words here. And now, may we have faith in life to do wise planting, that the generations to come may reap even more abundantly than we. May we be bold in bringing to fruition the golden dreams of human kinship and justice. This we ask, that the fields of promise become fields of reality.
And I dedicate her service, this service today, to her memory and her life's work.